Well, is that, historically speaking, from 1999, has there been any government that has tried to gag INEC?
Well, theoretically, it might be difficult to hazard. But any Nigerian of adult age know that election has not been this transparent, and the process of the activities of INEC has never been this as independent, and the opposition has never been this audacious, and they have never had a conducive environment as this president has provided for them to exercise their rights as Nigerians. You see, because we're living in a new country under a civilized president that believes in rights of people and that appreciates that in every sincere desire to serve should be the realization of the person to know people have a say.
Is it about the presidency, or the credit should go to Nigerians, that over the years they've been able to nurture this democracy and it has grown to the extent that they have this freedom?
Fundamentally, the credit should go to Nigerians who desire democracy. More importantly, the credit needs to go to the president who has restrained himself from arbitrariness. You see, we have desired good for a long time in Nigeria. We have been confronted with presidents that use authority of state to coerce us into submission.
But it doesn't make it right.
It doesn't make it right. So when we say what is right, it doesn't make it sensible not to acknowledge this is right.
You say your party will win. The APC says their party will win. Don't these kind of messages, because if only one person can win at the center, won't the supporters then interpret the results negatively if it doesn't go their way, with those kind of assurances that yes, we will win? No,
see, that brings us to why we want INEC to be truly independent and credible. They have to be the umpire. And when the process are not only right, but are seen as being right, then the result will be accepted as being fair. But a situation where there is an advisory meeting of the Council of State, and they have, in their own capacity, reasonably advised INEC, and INEC are supposedly holding a meeting today, a major stakeholder is jumping to conclusion that whatever advices they have been given must be rendered irrelevant. It's not the issue. We should try to place Nigeria above personal considerations.
But how come they got the impression that it's your party that is looking for a shift in order to break the momentum?
Because it's my party that is standing for fairness in the process leading to the election. Because you see, election is just a day. The process leading to election amounts to more than the election day in what makes an election free and fair. The process is actually the issue. So, if the process is construed to be tainted, nothing you can do on that day that will amount to fairness.
Is it tainted now?
It is not. I'm not saying it is. But what I'm saying, my party stands for fair and free election. This president wants to give Nigerians right to decide who should be their leader.
So how is your party helping INEC to, ensure that it is efficient in terms of how it goes about its duty?
Well, basically, my party is of lesser significance because they're not in government. They are in government. It is what the government is doing. It would have been a different thing if INEC is saying government is denying our of funds. The Constitution does not even allow help for INEC because independence deprives help. So what the government, the federal government has done, what the president has done, is what the Constitution asks him to do. We have provided funds for them. We have expected in the minimum for INEC chairman and commissioners to be as patriotic and desirous of giving the finance to Nigeria.
So is the PDP-led government going to be considering then the suggestion that it declares a work-free day to ensure that as many Nigerians as are desirous of collecting their cards are able to?
Well, I wouldn't know what government would do.
Is this something you would recommend?
I am indifferent. Because what makes people not to have been collecting this cannot just be for the reason of people not going alone. When they say there are a lot of cards somewhere uncollected, well, that's just the theory of what we hear. But for those of us who are even in the grassroots, there are a lot of my supporters and people who had been going back and forth to INEC offices without luck.
You say that you're indifferent, that you don't think that this will make a difference, but do you think that just to eliminate the fact that,
Yeah, it's good.
just to eliminate that, the possibility that it's possible that, some people wanted to collect their cards, but perhaps owing to other considerations, they were not able to. Do you think that we should be able to say, just to eliminate this reason, at least let us do this one, and then let us see what we still have left after we've conducted that particular exercise?
What I'm indifferent is this, and I think INEC should have done better than what they're doing. If the administration of distribution of cards is faulty, there is little or nothing people can do for them to collect the cards. I listened to a radio program where patriotic Nigerians are floating websites to assist. It shows there is deficiency in the process. There's a website where you go, you can know where your polling booth is and whatever. These are ordinarily what happened in civilized society. This is ordinarily what INEC should have given to Nigerians.
So you find out that a lot of Nigerians are taking the initiative and saying...
Because we are concerned.
Just a moment. Yes, we can still assist INEC in spite of the fact that help might mean, that INEC is not independent according to your definition.
No,
but
according to,
yes,
as we see it.
According to what you are saying, but they're devising ways to see how they can still assist the agencies in spite of that. The question is, what is the PDP-led government doing, aside the monies that have been approved to INEC, to ensure that as much as possible, INEC is able to meet its target of this last date that is set for itself?
Ma'am, I think what you need to appreciate with the government is the fact that the government is in a more precarious condition to show fairness than ordinary people who want to show concern. If, take for instance, the government wants to show more concern about administration of INEC, it will look like tampering with the process.
How much percentage of permanent voter card collection would you like to see to give you some assurance? Because, it's going to be tough to get 100% distribution of these cards.
Well, your first question, why you are concluding. Is it because...
No, can we get 100%?
Yes, you see, we cannot continue to imagine Nigeria cannot be in the league of good countries in the world.
No, I say 100% because...
the PVC is a right of every Nigerian of voting age. So if we now start talking about percentages, we are analyzing disadvantages. So if we analyze disadvantages, it is as good from maybe 50 upwards for how benevolent you want to be.
No, because we've spoken to INEC several times, and INEC says, look, there are people who have left where they were before, and they missed the deadline to transfer their data. And so if they missed that deadline, even if they had their cards, they can't vote. And some cannot get their cards because they missed that window. And then there are people who have all sorts of reasons why these cards cannot be collected. So to that extent, they say, look, you can't get 100%.
I think what we should do is, constitutionally, INEC is saddled with the responsibility of performing, conducting elections. Whatever they do, we'll take as a country. But as Nigerians, we will expect more from people saddled with responsibility of state to plan for us than put us in position where all of us now become stakeholder with what ordinarily should have been done by them. I think that would have been my own feeling.
Would you have loved to see this election hold, going by this analysis of INEC's not too good preparation for the election?
When I would have loved this election to hold is when would have been best in preparation. If it is next week, it is fine.
So in other words, since we have almost 72 hours window, if we have significant amount of distribution, we can still go with the elections?
I think it's okay. Because, you see, we are just exercising our freedom of speech. The Constitution is very clear. And I don't know why people are taking advantage of saying somebody wants them to shift. Even if you want them to shift, constitutionally you are bad. The INEC has a responsibility to do these things. But we are putting it on record that they should do what is right. And I don't think that is too much for a free citizen or a committed government to say to an agency. They need to do what is right. Because this country deserves what is right.
What is right, please?
What is right is not to disenfranchise any Nigerian from that which is their constitutional right to exercise.
All right, Prince Shagun Seriki is the coordinator, PDP Presidential Campaign Organization in Ogun State. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much.